Okay, we're on Mem Gimel on the base. Everybody's able to hear? Joseph, you able to hear? Abram?
Yes,
No?
yes, yes,
Morning.
yes. I'm good.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Okay, it's a little bit, the computer's just playing it back a little bit. You know, everything, in life, everything's recorded. So, and in a certain sense, everything will be played back to us also. Okay. Okay, I think that's better now. Okay. We're Mem Gimel on the base. Yesterday we had a fascinating Gemara. The Gemara says that in the future, first we had the Gemara that talks about Amar Rav Yehuda. We'll go back to this Gemara. Amar Rav Yehuda. We're in the wide lines of Mem Gimel on the base. We are on 43b. We said if you go out in the month of Nisan, right? We said if you see a new tree, or maybe we'll talk it out. Mem Gimel Beit, you see a new tree blooming, and it starts budding. The flowers are starting to come out from the tree. Not just you see the buds coming out. So then you go ahead. There's a special bracha that the Gemara says we're supposed to say, and a lot of people are very careful to do this mitzvah. Right? They see a new tree. It's once a year that you say this bracha. Usually in the month of Nisan, that the trees are starting to blossom. It's budding, and it has to be a fruit tree. It has to be a tree that bears fruit, and there's a special bracha that you say. What? You just see the budding. You see the flowers coming out from the tree already. You have to wait till you see some of the flowers coming out, and then you go ahead and you say the bracha. If you did not find it in Nisan, you could do it in the next month, at Iyar also. And it's a beautiful, it's a very beautiful, interesting bracha. The bracha is that you say, Baruch atah Hashem Malkeinu melech haolam shelo chisa ba'olam klum, that Hashem did not lack anything in the world that He created. Everything is, whatever is needed has been created. Ubara b'briot tovot, He created many good creatures. That could be referring to animals and different things, or trees. So that's referring to more animals and other things, that creatures that Hashem created. And Ilonos Tovot. And He created trees, good trees, that people should have great enjoyment. Hashem was interested that we should have some kosher enjoyment. Kosher enjoyment. There's a lot of enjoyment, I think, that's in the world that's not kosher. But Hashem created things that are kosher that we can enjoy, whether it's beautiful trees with great fruit trees. Enjoy your fruit. Go to the fruit store, buy some good fruit, enjoy, make a nice bracha. Or whether it's animals that you could go ahead and slaughter and eat and enjoy. Hashem created that for you, for your purpose, for your benefit. Okay, we're in the 10 lines into the wide lines. Amar Mazuta Batuvi Amarav. You have it? First word of the line, Yaron, is Lo Kalavanan. Mem Gimel Amar Beis. Amar Mazutra Amarav. My Diksiv. That's a very interesting Gemara now. My Diksiv, the pasuk says, Esakol Shlomo Melech, the wisest of all men, say Esakol Yasa Yafa Beito. Everything Hashem made appropriate in its time. What is it referring to? That Hashem made everything that's appropriate, that's beautiful, Yafet, that's beautiful in its time. So what is that referring to? So the Gemara says, one second. The Gemara says the following. There are all different types of jobs out there in the world, all different types of careers that people decide to go into. And the decision that a person would go ahead and want to go into that type of job, that a person would want to go into to be a tanner, to work the skins of an animal where the smell is terrible in such a plant. Or some people, or people want to be a tailor, and people want to be a shoemaker, and people want to be a locksmith, or people, all different types of, or a slaughter, a shochet. We need all different types of crafts for the world, for the wheels to turn, so to speak. The world should run beautifully. They should have everything that we need in the world. So Hashem made it that when Hashem made it, that the people should have an appreciation of this type of craft. This guy wants to be a mathematician. This guy wants to be an accountant. Whatever, all different types of crafts, Hashem made it that way. Hashem implanted into the people that they should go ahead and have that appreciation of that craft. And therefore, they're going to go into that craft. Imagine if everybody in the world will only want to be doctors and lawyers. How would we go? We have no shoemakers. You need to fix your shoe. You have no one to fix your shoe, right? So Hashem made it that the Hashem made the gzeira that there'll be people out there that are going to go ahead and they're going to enjoy being a shoemaker. And therefore, because they're going to enjoy being a shoemaker, they're going to have someone to buy shoes from, to have shoes, to fix shoes. So, as therefore the Pasuk says, the Gemara explains, Melame shekol echad ve'echad yipalo HaKadosh Baruch Hu umnasa b'fanav. God made it that the person should enjoy his job, that he should want to go into this type of field, even if the field has within it a negative odors, negative smell. Well, let's say a painter. You ever see what the painter's hands look like? It's not an easy job being a painter, right? You get all dirty, but you know what? He loves being a painter. Beautiful. We all need someone to paint our apartments. So that's something that Hashem made it, that a person would want to go ahead and go into that profession and enjoy the profession. So as Rashi explains, Hashem did this. This is a wonder of God, so to speak, that the world should not be missing what's needed for the world. We need a shoemaker. We need leather. We need to have shoes. We need all those things. Hashem made it that way. The Marsha says, the way the Marsha learns is very interesting. He says that Hashem makes the decrees on the person. You know, I would say the idea is like this. We know the parnasah of a person is set from Rosh Hashanah. Hashem is the one who goes ahead and decides how much money you're going to make. So obviously he says Hashem makes a decree on what type of job you should have, what type of career you should have. You think you've decided to go into that career all by yourself. You should know that God implanted that you should desire real estate. You should like computers. You should like cars, or whatever it might be, different professions that people are in, that Hashem made the decree that you should be in that profession. And therefore, he gave you a liking for that profession. Usually people are able to work at something that they enjoy, right? So that's what the pasuk is saying. Now, Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa says, he illustrates this with a saying that people say, Hainu the Amri Inchi. I don't know if I said a proper hello to Avram and Shmuel as well as Joseph and Shmuel Rave. Okay, Hainu the Amri Inchi. Tali le koru ledava acher. Let's say there's the date tree. If you take the soft part of the date tree, and you will hang it onto the neck of a pig, right? And you want the pig to eat this delicious date piece of the date tree. Now, what does the pig usually do? Rashi says that the pig, he rolls a lot in the garbage. that's the way a pig, that's one of the things that a pig does. He likes to roll in the garbage. So here you went ahead and you gave the pig.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are
You know
you?
who I miss
Shalom.
very much? Michael Dahan. He doesn't come to Knesset. He's not here.
Usually here. Tell me you miss him.
I miss him very much.
So he's waiting for a telephone call from you,
I
Sammy.
got it. Oh, see, we have the Dahan here. We keep it in the family. If he's gonna make a tape, he gives it to him, so he covered.
So, Morris, Shalom Aleichem. Good to see you, Morris. So he says that even though you gave him the date tree, the piece of the date tree, and he's able to go ahead and eat it, and it'll be clean, everything will be clean. But you know what? He doesn't, that's not what he's used to. That's not what he likes. He goes after, even though he has the opportunity to go ahead and eat this date thing in cleanliness, nevertheless, the day of it, the pig does what he enjoys. What does he do? He goes ahead and he rolls in the garbage, and therefore the piece of the part of the date tree that he was given will become all dirty, and so on and so forth. So too, a person who goes ahead and decides to engage in a job that's not such a it's not such a clean, it's not so clean, it's dirty. Even though he might have the opportunity to choose a different type of career, which is a more clean cut career. His hands won't get so dirty. It won't be such a bad odor. Nevertheless, he'd rather continue working. I'll give you the sanitation department. We need sanitation. Without sanitation, the world will be a bad place, right? We got to get rid of the garbage. But this guy, he wants to sign up to be the garbage man. I mean, they're paying them a little bit, that's not so bad. They have a strong union. But the point is, Hashem wanted it. Hashem gave these people the mindset that they should want to be a sanitation man. The Gemara continues. Now, we're saying different statements from this rabbi. So the statements might not be necessarily connected to the Gemaras before, but we're now quoting different statements from this rabbi once we brought this rabbi in, where we were talking about saying brachos on different types of items. So now we're going to various subjects that the rabbi made comments on. The Gemara says in Psachim, a person should not go out alone at night. When you go out, have a great day. When you go out alone at night, there's something called mazikim, demons, maybe sometimes angels that try to cause problems for a person, try to cause some sort of damage to a person. So, and they have power when a person is alone at night, in darkness, person's alone. That's when these shadim, these demons have strength. So it says, if you go out with a torch, that means it's no longer dark. So the question is, what is it? It says if you go out with a torch, that's like being with two people. You're no longer considered alone when you have a torch, if you go out with a torch at night. Today's day and age, I presume we have all the street lights. We have a lot of lights at night. So that should also be able to serve, I presume, as that torch. That you're not, it's not completely dark. It's not like, you're in the woods, you're in the desert, you're in the country. Some places in the country, there's, we got to talk to the governor. We need some more street lights in the country. But we're talking about here. So here it says like this. When you go out with a torch, the torch is equal like two people. Good morning, Dr. Gimel. V'yoreach, but if the moon is shining, it's kishlosha. The moon, the power of the light of the moon being with the moon going out at night, and the moon is shining where you are, that's considered like three people. Now, the Gemara is going to explain more detail in a moment what this means. One second, let's see, there's a comment here. So Iboilu, they had the following question. Avuka Kishnayim. When we say if you go out with a torch at night, it's like two people. Does it mean that the torch is counted as two people, or you plus the torch makes the two people? Because we're going to see there's a difference between two people at night in the dark or three people in the dark. Okay? So when we say that if you have a torch, if you walk outside with a torch at night, it's considered like two people. Does it mean with you it's two people? That means the torch is one and you're one? Or does it mean it's like two people besides you and it's like you have three people walking together? Bahadidi day, is it together with you? It's a total of two people? Maybe the torch is considered like two people independent of you, and you with the torch, you like have three people. That's the Gemara's. The Gemara soon is going to explain to us what's the difference between going out with three people at night and going out with two people at night. So the Gemara wants to know, what does this torch accomplish? Does it accomplish it now? It's like you have two people going out, you and the torch is like a person, or the torch has a status of two people, and now you have three people going out at night. Am I clear? Everybody on the screen and everyone live. We are on Mem Gimel Amud Beis, 43b in Maseches Berachos. Is that clear, everybody? This is the question. What do you say, Joseph?
I said, yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
It's clear. Okay. And I'm happy that it's clear. We need Torah has to be clear. Toshma. So the Gemara says, I have the following, yes.
When we see three people, it's like two people in the torch. And then when we see one people, it's one in the torch.
Say it again. If you say it again, if what? We want to know when the torch, is the torch equal to two people? Is it like, or is the torch equal to one person? What's the power of a torch? Does it equal of one person and another person, or is it another two people? That's the question. So the Gemara says Toshma. It says V'yoreach kishlosha. We said the moon, if you go out with the moon, then it's like you have three people. Now the Gemara explains. Now the Gemara is going to explain the following. There's only a benefit. You never need four people. Sometimes there's a benefit of three people total, but you never need four. And the Gemara is going to say there's a difference between two people and three people. So if you're going to tell me, the Gemara says, if you say that the torch and means together with you is two people, and it means the torch is counted as one, and the moon together with you is a total of three, that the moon is equal to two people, and the torch is equal to one person. Okay, because if you learn that way, that it's only the torch is only considered like one additional person, but the moon is considered like what, two additional people. So when it says the moon is like three, it doesn't mean the moon is three additional people. The moon is like two additional people plus you is a total of three. So then it is good. Then we understand everything is good. But if you're going to say that it's referring to not including you. So when it says the torch is like two, it means two besides you is a total of three. And when it says the moon is three, it means, if you're going to say it means three, not including you, that means a total of four. Why should we ever need four? You never need four at night. The rabbi said, Echad, but when there's one person that goes out alone, nireh umaziklo, the demon, this thing that does damage, it exposes itself, it shows itself, and it does damage. L'shnayim, but when there's two people that are traveling together, this demon, now we don't see the demons today, to my knowledge, but l'shnayim nireh ve'eno mazik. It could be that in those days, in the old days, they had these more, or I wonder if they're still around. L'shnayim, if there are two people going on the road, nireh ve'ena mazik. At night, nireh, the demon might show itself, but ve'ena mazik. But it does not do damage if there's two people. L'shlosha, but if there's three people, eina nira klalika. It doesn't even show itself. The demon doesn't even show itself. So therefore, the Gemara says there's never a need for four people. So if you're telling me that the moon is three, it needs to be it means three with the moon. So it means the moon is counted as two. So when you say the torch is two, it means the torch is counted as one, and with the person is two people. Because there's a contrast between the torch and the moon. The Gemara says torch is two, the moon is three. And we know when it says moon is three, it doesn't mean three besides the person, it means three with the person. So therefore, when it says the torch is two, it means torch is two with the person. So that's what the Gemara concludes. Yes. The question, no, very good. First thing is, there is a discussion, is this only for a Talmid Chacham, a Torah scholar should not walk alone at night, or even any person? Some say any person shouldn't walk alone at night. If you have the light of the moon, meaning, because what's the concern? One of the concerns is these demons. Some say maybe there's some things like, I saw a language that says maybe there's some angels that are looking to do damage to a person. Hashem created in this world certain demons, certain things that have power to create problems for a person. And these demons have power at night, in the dark, but when there's light at night, they don't owe you with other people. And also that teaches us the power of people being together. When a person is not alone, being with somebody else, that creates safety from the demons. Demons have power when people are alone. That's why we encourage that's why it's another encouragement. People should be together with other people. Don't be alone. Go out. When you go out, if you're going out of the house, you go out with somebody. So if you have the moon, not always you see the moon, right? Depending, now we have this Kiddush Levana. You have to, you don't always see the moon. Certain times in the month you don't see the moon. Certain times in the month the moon is blocked. We're looking for the moon. We're looking to Kiddush Levana. We don't always have the light of the moon, but the light of the moon affects the demons, and the demons stay away. When you're out and there's the moon, they stay away. That light, this, which may be symbolic of life, is about bringing light to the world. So therefore, when there's light, the demons, when things are in the dark, that's when people are not involved in bringing light. And not with light, you have to be light. You have to be doing things and bringing shining and lightening others, so on and so forth. So when there's light outside, by daytime, the demons have no power by day. And at night, it depends. If you go out alone, then you're subject to certain dangers. So therefore, and there's differences between one person, you're going out by yourself, going out with one person, and going out with two people. But going out with one person, you're already protected if you go out with someone else. But the demon is still around. The demon still shows himself. But when you go out with two people, the demon doesn't show itself at all. So that's what we're saying, that the Gemara is just showing you that this torch is considered like one additional. So if you want the highest level would be the best thing, the safest thing is to go out with two other people, but the main thing is not to go out alone at night. But like we said, today's day and age, when we have street lights and we have all the lights, there shouldn't be an issue. That's definitely shouldn't be an issue. I mean, for sure, it's at least considered like with two people. Now he says a very famous statement. Now he says he is the author of a very famous statement. Some say it was Rav China bar Bizdam, Rav Shimon Chassid Amila, and some say Rav Yochanan. There are different opinions of who is saying the next famous statement that most people heard about. Yochanan Mishum Rav Shimon Yochai, Noach lo la'adam. it is better for a person. Better for a person to throw himself into a fire rather than embarrass someone in public. That's a very famous statement. Shmuel Ray, if you hear that, powerful story, powerful Gemara, right?
Yes.
Better. And obviously the lesson to us is the sensitivity, how we talk to people, how we have to realize that here we have a Gemara that says that it's better for a person to throw himself into a furnace rather than not to whiten his friend's face in public. What does it mean to whiten? When you embarrass somebody, the blood moves and he turns white. You ever hear something? You turn white. You lost color as a result of the embarrassment. And what's the source? Where do we find such a source for such a halacha? And we're gonna have to see, we'll see in a minute exactly more about this. Shenema, if you recall the story of Tamar and Yehuda, and Tamar was pregnant, and Yehuda did not know that, and the question, the thought was that she became pregnant, not in the context of, she thought she became pregnant from a man that she should not have been with. And as a result of that, there was a decree against her that she should die by swallowing a hot lead, which is sreifa, which is hot lead. And what happened was, we know she became pregnant from Yehuda, and she didn't want to embarrass Yehuda to say, you were the one who was the father, you made me pregnant. So instead of embarrassing Yehuda, she sent to Yehuda, she sent certain things that Yehuda had left by her. And she said, the one who these belong to, that's the one, she says, recognize these things, right? She said, recognize these things. And Yehuda said, you know what? I'm the one who made her pregnant, and therefore she was saved. But she did not say, Yehuda made me pregnant. She did not want to go ahead and embarrass Yehuda. She would rather, if Yehuda would not admit that he was the one, she would be ready, like say, take the bullet. He would be taking the hot lead, and she would be ready to go ahead and die. Rather than what? Rather than embarrass Yehuda. So that's and the pasuk says, he mutses. The pasuk says, it's an amazing, says she was being taken out they were about to go ahead and give her the hot lead. The shulcha el chamia, she sent to her father-in-law, leisha she'ela lo, the man who these items belong to, anochi hara, I became pregnant from this man. And she says, Hakinar, recognize whose signet ring this is, whose robe this is, whose stick this is. Recognize, please recognize. And you know what? He says it's from me. And that's the lesson that she teaches us. Now, the comment I saw, there is a discussion. Does this really mean that a person should rather get killed? I mean, if you take the Gemara literally, is there an obligation for a person to do such a thing? Or is this something that a person has a right to do, but not that they're obligated to do this? I mean,
what do you mean to do this? Not to.
Meaning Tamar went ahead and she was willing to die in order not to embarrass her father-in-law. She was willing to die. Is that something are we learning from there that every person is obligated to give their life rather than embarrass someone? Or we could say that a person has a right to go ahead, and maybe it's better and maybe it's a good way to, it's a very appropriate way to do something very special and appropriate and better, ideal for a person to give their life rather than like Noach lo la'adam. It's maybe it's Noach. It's better. It's for a person to give their life rather than embarrass someone. But does it mean that there's an obligation? Like we have an obligation to put on tefillin. If we don't put on tefillin, we violate our responsibilities. Are we meaning we're mandated to put on tefillin every day, right? Are we is a person mandated to give their life rather than embarrass somebody, or is it something that's the ideal thing to do?
Maybe
that-
she took, sorry,
What do you
maybe
think?
she took it to heart, when a person is embarrassed, their blood drains from their face and it's like they're dead. So she'd rather herself die than to kill her father-in-law, so to speak, by having him be embarrassed, which is like death.
Right, but the question is, very good, but the question is therefore, is that the obligation? Meaning, if she would go to the rabbi, if she would ask a rabbi, am I obligated to give my life then to embarrass someone? Or I have a right to give, or it's ideal to give my life.
But Rabbi,
There's only 3 sins that a person's obligated to have himself die for, right? The three cardinal sins.
Right, very good. So that's a good point. That's a good point. So you want to,
but I think,
This is not one.
yes.
Right, but I think this is maybe the wrong question, because we have a choice if to humiliate somebody in public or to do it in person. So for example, if I want to say something to somebody, I have a choice to say it in front of other people, they're going to embarrass him, or I can go and talk to him on the side so nobody else. I'm obligated to confront him if he did something wrong. I think I have to prove to him that he's wrong, but I have the power to do it in front of other people, or decide to do it in person. So maybe this is, I'm not sure if this is the right question to ask, if you're obligated to give your life, because I have a choice if I should embarrass somebody in front of other people or just in private. I can control it. It's my responsibility not to do it.
Right, but here the question is, she had no way of doing anything privately. I mean, the question was here.
But she sent him signs, which means that
she sent him signs. And let's say if he would not admit to it, what will happen? She's going to die.
Right.
So she put herself in a position. In a certain sense, she put herself in a position. Now you're right. Shmuel Rav is pointing out a great point. She did something in a way that she didn't need to embarrass. She's able to save herself without embarrassing him. But on the same token, she took this chance that maybe he will not go ahead and admit, and therefore she would die. So it seems that she understood there was a possibility, a strong possibility, that she would get killed, and she was willing to go ahead and get killed. She knew that there's a possibility that he would not admit. And if he would not admit, she would get killed. So the Gemara is learning from her that that she was taking that risk. A person needs to take that a person has a right to take the risk, a right to risk their own life in order not to embarrass someone. You're pointing out it wasn't definitely that he was going to be. Therefore, he's going to be embarrassed. If she would go ahead and say that he did it, he would be embarrassed. So she goes ahead, she doesn't say anything, and now she risked her life as a result of that. Her life is at risk because he might not admit it. So we see from here that a person has a right to risk their life, to put their life in danger in order to prevent someone from being embarrassed. So Tosfos and the Rabbeinu Yonah seem to be of the opinion like the way Avram was saying, that embarrassing someone is like murder in a certain sense. And at least the Torah looks at it like murder. God has a different book. God measures things differently. And he looks at you, go ahead and you embarrass someone, the blood moves, that's like murder. And therefore a person has an obligation, he's mandated, he or she is mandated to give up their life rather than to embarrass someone. And they will look at it like, just like you have to give up your life for murder, your person rather be killed than murder someone else. So this is included in the three that you have to person to give up their life, then murder someone else. Meaning, if somebody says shoot somebody, if you want to save your life, the only way you save your life is to shoot the other guy. You can't save your life by shooting the other guy. So here, if the only way out, the Tamaz is going to save her life by shooting Yehuda. How does she? Meaning, embarrassing is like shooting him. It's like killing him because the blood moves. So she's not allowed to do that. That is the opinion of Tosfot. However, the Meiri says that it does not mean that a person has an obligation to give up their life. And the way they bring down the Devar Shol says, the way Devar Shol says, you're not obligated to give up your life, but you have a right to give up your life. So that seems to be the difference of opinions of and the difference of opinion whether a person has an obligation or a person has a right. But at the end of the day, even if we don't have an obligation, the fact that a person has a right to, we see the power of embarrassing someone, how important of steps that we need to take never to cause embarrassing someone in public. And also, we know we have another statement. We have another statement that if a person embarrasses his friend in public, you lose their portion in Olam Haba. So we have to go ahead. That the fact that we have a focus on public doesn't mean, okay, Rabbi, in private, I'm allowed to embarrass the person. No. The Torah itself says when you give Musa to somebody, the Torah says when you give Musa, and what Shmuel Rav was talking about before, you give Musa privately, you call him to the side, but you're supposed to do it in the way out loud. It says, don't embarrass the person. Talk softly to the person, talk gently to the person. Don't embarrass. When you give the Musa in private, you also got to go ahead and do it softly and not to embarrass. We have a number of people, most people are married on the screen or here. If you have to say something to your wife, you have to make sure you don't embarrass her. Even if something has to be said, but there's a way of saying, there's an art of communication. So even though you're saying it privately and everything else, but it doesn't mean you could just embarrass her. You have to say it, have to be thought out how you say it. And I'll just end with the point when I saw the letter of the Ramban on Shabbos. The letter of the Ramban says, think before you speak. Always think before you say anything. Think, and also not only before you speak to somebody, before you pray. Every word of davening, I think this is a very good help to help people with kavanah in the davening. Before you say the next word, you think about what you're about to say. Ata kadosh, shivcha kadosh. Think about the word ata kadosh. A hundredth of a second before each word, think about the word you're about to say. Don't just think about the word while you're saying it. Think about the word a moment before you're saying it. And I think you'll find a great increase in kavanah in your tefillah. Have a great day, everybody. And also in life, if you think before you speak, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. People who think before, especially with your wife, your friends, your family members, everybody. If you don't think before you speak, then you get yourself in trouble. Then you got to get yourself out of the trouble. So let's think a lot before. Yes.
Rabbi.
Yes.
Just with the story of Tamar and Yehuda, just to finish, because we have another lesson, very great lesson we can take in this opportunity, because Yehuda in the end, instead of just hiding and basically not admitting, because he was embarrassed after all, there's this famous sentence saying, "V'yitzat kamimeni." He was standing up accepting his responsibility in front of everybody.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons I became Mamlechet Yehuda. He was he basically put in a leader. He put his pride on the side and did the right thing. And this is very
Beautiful.
admiring for us also to know.
Taking responsibility and not look beautiful. That's how we have a great king. Exactly. Beautiful, Shmuel.
תודה רבה.
Have a great day, everybody.
Shmuel, we see you tomorrow, right?
Yaron, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Bezrat Hashem, Bezrat Hashem. That's it. I know now. Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, yes, I think so. Yes.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
great day.
להתראות.
Take care.